Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE here. As today we continue to build up to SummerSlam. Monday, week 2, August 2022 is where we begin the road to SummerSlam paved in a lot of things. Just building out that beautiful puzzle that will be the biggest party of the summer for us all. This episode, then we got week 3, week 4, and then SummerSlam. So a lot to get through still till we get there, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to continue filling out this card and then to get to it. And so without further ado, let's just jump into it, shall we? As we kick off this episode, as always, of course, with another episode of Monday Night Raw, which gets underway with footage from a fancy business office. Everyone's in suits. You got Triple H, Kevin Owens, Adam Cole, Finn Balor, and Andrade, Triple H and his chosen superstars. And, they're discussing things. Triple H asking, how everyone's doing with everything going on. And, it's kind of a group discussion type thing. And the first point of that call is called Pete Dunne. How are we feeling about Pete Dunne? Just announced that he's going to be using his King of the Ring win World Championship match to face Kevin Owens at SummerSlam in his home country of England at Wembley Stadium. How are we all feeling about that? And Kevin Owens saying, no concern, nothing to worry about. I'll kick his ass. I'll stun him senseless, and then you know what? I'm really gonna enjoy watching all those dumbasses in the UK crying their eyes out when their hero Pete Dunne gets put down for a 1-2-3. Triple H says that's great. Now, the other issue that arose last week, Kyle O'Reilly. Andrade called you out. How's that going? And Andrade saying it's no concern. He's saying that if Kyle O'Reilly wants it, he'll happily give it to him and beat him. And Triple H says that's good. And then he goes to Colin Balor saying, what about you two? What you two got cooking? And Colin Balor look at each other and then they say, don't worry, we know what's next. For 100, just a nice little business meeting between Triple H and his favourite boys. For that 100, very good start to the show. As then we go to, out comes Walter to the ring with Imperium. And Walter, I am tempted to. Oh God, I'm still considering changing his name to Gunter. If anything, just because I'm very used to calling him Gunter now, I might. If his name is suddenly changed to Gunter next week, pay no concern to that. It was Gunter all along, okay? So we've got Imperium in the ring, and Walter saying that I came face to face with Damian Priest last week because I see him here with the Hardcore Championship. The Hardcore Championship, a title bathed in blood. A championship of barbaric proportions. Being fought for in this ring where the mat is sacred. Having blood shed on it weekly at points. And so I had to step in. And I will step in to take that championship and provide some sacrality to this mat once again here on Monday Night Raw. For 77, solid promo. And then Walter in action against Ezra Judge of the Hurt Business. Big boot to Andrew Dawkins last week, taking on Ezra Judge this week. And Walter does get the win against Ezra Judge with the powerbomb. Jesus, that must have been a big powerbomb. For 66. Good match. 75 Walter, 25 Ezra Judge. Solid, good start to the show. Happy with that. As then Chase U coming out, Edris Arthur waiting, Apollo Crews coming out of his boys, the Nigerian Wrecking Crew, And of course Apollo Crews saying, you won't be facing me, Edris. You'll be facing Baba Tunde. And Edris and Arthur saying that I knew this was coming, so just get your ass out of the ring and let me fight him. For 61, decent, and then Baba Tunde versus Edris and Nafe. In the end, Nafe gives it all he's got. He does better than he did against Omos a few weeks back. But Baba Tunde gets the win for 38, which is okay. in-ring performance-wise. 52 Babatunde, 27 Edris and Arfe. Wasn't expecting the world. We'll take the 38. Edris and Arfe coming up short once again, but still not looking deterred from his pursuit of a Mr. Apollo Crews. As then we go to Triple H's office. Alexa knocking on the door, saying you want to see me. You know, last week beat Kairi Sane for the Women's World title. Triple H saying well done on that, but I'm still not impressed enough. I'm still not certain you have what it takes to carry that Women's World Championship. Alexa a little bit annoyed, saying that, no offense, Hunter, but I beat Kairi Sane. I beat everyone put in front of me. I have this Women's World Championship for a reason. Triple H saying, okay, I understand that, but I just want to see a bit more. And so I brought you another challenger for tonight. And then in walks Shayna Baszler for an 88. Very good. Later tonight, Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler for that Women's World Championship. Next up, we have Ikemen Jiro taking on Robert Roode. And it is Robert Roode who gets to win with the glorious DDT for a 70. Robert Roode getting a chance to showcase himself last week. Roode and Storm turning on Dolph Ziggler, their fellow dirty dog, taking him out. And Robert Roode getting a chance to, show himself off. Then we cut backstage. 69 Robert Roode, 47 Ikemen Jiro, by the way. Good match. Ikemen Jiro doing better than I thought, honestly. 70 for the overall. Really good. Happy with that. Then we cut backstage, Toxic Attraction, having a little talk in the Toxic Lounge, talking about, little Lexi. You see what's going on around her? And Mandy saying, yes, oh my god. I mean, little Lexi just not good enough now, is she? And Gigi, piping in, saying that, little Lexi coming up short in more days than one, I suppose. And then Mandy, hold of a briefcase, saying that maybe I should do Triple H a favor and give him and Raw a champion that they can be proud of, huh? For 61, Toxic Attraction continuing things. Mandy Rose continuing to tease what she's going to do with that Money in the Bank briefcase of hers. As then we cut back to the ring, Robert Roode with the mic, James Storm by him. And Roode saying that last week the Dirty Dogs put down the rabid mess that was trying to destroy them. That was Dolph Ziggler. And now it's time for us to shine, for me to shine in all my glorious glory once again. So this is a message to Montez Ford that I am coming to take that Intercontinental Championship from you when out comes Sheamus. And Sheamus saying that the only man around here who's taking that Intercontinental Championship is me. A little back and forth for an 83. Sheamus challenging James Storm, who accepts, of course. Sheamus versus James Storm here. And Sheamus, a big bro kick on his way to victory for another 70. Another good match. 67 Sheamus, 51 James Storm. Well done. Sheamus picking up the victory over James Storm here for that 70. Good match. Another good match. Show going very well here. We cut backstage. Kayla Braxton interviewing the Raw Tag Team Champions Randy Orton and Chad Gable. Kayla asks Orton about Angel Garza. And Orton says he's not entirely sure when Garza will be back, but we'll be waiting for him when he is. We're looking forward to him, wishing him speedy recovery and all that. But for now, me and Chad here, we're ready for whoever wants to step up to us and these Raw Tag Team Championships. As in walks Adam Cole and Finn Balor. And saying that, we were thinking about it and we decided maybe we want some championship gold of our own. For 100, very good. Face-to-face, Orton and Gable with Cole and Balor. Just a foursome of dudes putting on bangers there. Beautiful. And we then cut to Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne saying to Riddle, what's all this about then, I should be training. I got my match at SummerSlam coming up for the WWE Championship, so what is it, Matt? And Riddle saying, bro, I know you got to train, but I got a surprise for you. You've done so well in King of the Ring. You've been such a good bro to me, and I just wanted to thank you, so I got you a little surprise to help get you ready for the match at SummerSlam. And Pete saying, Matt, you don't have to do that. I just need to get back to training. You know, I shouldn't be messing around like this. This accent's all over the place. And Matt saying, bro, I think you're really gonna like this surprise. Trust me on this one. Here you go. He hands him an envelope. Pete opens it and says, what's this? And then he opens it. Matt says, it's plane tickets, bro. You and me. We're going in the UK so you can train back home. And Pete, you know, a little bit happy, saying, you know what, Matt? You know what? I appreciate this, you know. Gonna go back home and train with my friends, you know, train at my old place. It's, you know what, thank you for that. And Matt saying, no problem, bro. That's what bros are for, you know. And Pete saying, so, where are we flying to then? And Matt saying, I got us tickets to the best airport I could find, bro. We're flying straight to Luton. And Pete says, Luton? Oh, for fuck. And then it cuts off before he can lament Luton Airport for 100. Very well done. This show, in comparison to other shows, has flown by, honestly. This episode, don't worry, the length will increase when Tony D'Angelo shows up. It always does. 100, though. Very good. Very solid. Very happy with that. As then, we have the main event. Alexa Bliss taking on Shayna Baszler for the Women's World Championship. Alexa continuing to try and prove herself to Triple H that she has what it takes to lead Raw's Women's World title division. And Shayna Baszler, looking to get some gold back of her own, honestly. Bliss versus Baszler, both women going at it. Baszler with her brutality and her ruthlessness. Alexa Bliss with her cunning, with her agility. And in the end of the main event of Monday Night Raw here on the build-up to SummerSlam, it is Alexa Bliss who comes out on top, hitting Twisted Bliss on Shayna Baszler in the end to get the victory and retain the Women's World Championship for a 79. Good match, really good match actually. 77 Bliss, 71 Baszler. Very happy with that, as Alexa Bliss keeps a hold of the Women's World title. And then after the match, Alexa stands tall, raises the Women's World title, very happy, and then gets caught with a Bayley to belly. Bayley appearing as if from nowhere and planting Alexa Bliss, turning around and then putting her out with a Bayley to belly before raising the Women's World title for a 97. Triple H, you know, still a bit umming and ahhing about if Alexa's got what it takes to lead Raw, and maybe Bayley trying to put her hat in the ring saying, I'll do it then, Hunter, don't worry, you know me, Big Bayley, I'll take that, I'll role model for you. Very good end of the show here. You know, Bayley standing tall over Alexa. You know, we have the little watermark in the bottom left. And then, no. Out walks Kyle O'Reilly through the crowd into the ring, saying, sorry, ladies, I just getting a mic in hat, getting a mic in the ring, saying, this isn't how this is ending. No, because I'm not done, okay? So Andrade, get your ass out here. And Andrade walking out, Triple H with him. And Kyle saying that, I heard you, Andrade. I heard you back there saying what? I'd be no problem. You put me out. You kick my ass. Well, bring it. Because I meant what I said last week. I'm going to kick your ass. And then I'm going to take you down, Hunter. So how about this? Hunter, you got the power to book it. And Andrade, if you're not a coward, and if you're not just all talk, you'll accept next week, Monday Night Raw, main event, Kyle O'Reilly versus Andrade. And when I win, when I kick Andrade's ass, when I put him out on that mat and make him tap out, Triple H, SummerSlam, you versus me. Triple H smirking a little bit and saying, you know what, Kyle? You're on. For 100. Very good end to the show here. Official next week. Kyle O'Reilly versus Andrade. And if Kyle O'Reilly wins, then official and set, it will be Kyle O'Reilly versus Triple H at SummerSlam. As overall, this week's episode of Raw gets an 88. Good show. Happy with that. The main event, 79. Bring it, probably the overrating down a bit, but we don't care. 79 is still good. Things moving along nicely. The places of the puzzle, you know. Last week we filled out the corners of the puzzle that will be SummerSlam. And this week We've started to smatter some pieces around, you know, fill out some shapes away from everything else, fill in from the corners a little bit more. Things are moving along nicely on the red brand. Let's fill out that puzzle a bit more with some shades of black and gold next up, because yes, it's time for another episode of NXT. And NXT gets underway with the Golden Guards having a summit of the Golden Gobs at a fancy, you know, upbeat lounge. I don't know, in a penthouse. Yeah, there you go. In a penthouse known as Mount Olympus to them. Because where else would the Golden Gods reside and summit? You know, they're sipping their fancy drinks. LA Knight, Torres, and Corbin. LA Knight saying about how there's a lot of talk about what they did to Cameron Grimes, but they think they made it pretty clear that he does not belong amongst the Golden Guards. He clearly ain't got what it takes. Torres and Corbin chipping in as well. Cameron Grimes, not good enough. Cameron Grimes had his chance to get some gold just like us, and he failed. And that he did. He failed, and yet here we stand. LA Knight and Spanish Fly, top of the world. Covered in gold like the Golden Guards should be. And then you hear the elevator ding. And all three of them kind of look towards the door as storms in Dominic Mysterio. And LA Knight like, what the hell are you doing here? And Dominic saying, I've had enough of this talk, okay? You guys don't deserve those titles. Me and my father do. So I'm just telling you that we are taking those titles back at SummerSlam, whether you like it or not. And then Dominic storming out for a 100. Golden God's just like, huh? As Dominic leaves. Dominic very much not happy losing those titles, is he? As the next up, we have Natalya versus Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez looking to prove she's got what it takes to head to SummerSlam, fight the Dakota Kai for that NXT Women's Championship, and Natalya versus Roxanne Perez. In the end, it is Roxanne Perez who does come out on top with the Prodigy for a 64. Good match, 58 Natalya, 55 Perez. Happy with this. Roxanne Perez comes out on top and gets the win. As then we cut to a promo backstage from #Trending. Ethan Page, Grayson Waller, Reggie. And of course, Persia, Prosser, and Tiffany Strand, the team that is Buffer Than Your Boyfriend. And they're just hyping up Buffer Than Your Boyfriend, talking about how they're standing here with the next WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Because come SummerSlam, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, who the hell are they? Yesterday's news, I'll tell you that much. Toxic Attraction, well, I mean, they're toxic, but they ain't got the attraction like our girls do right here. And then whatever pair of clowns or jokers Smackdown wants to send in, it doesn't matter, because come SummerSlam, all you're going to see circulating across the entirety of the internet is the picture and the image of Buffin and your boyfriends Persia Pirotta and Tiffany Stratton holding those women tag team titles, and that is going to be #trending for a 45. Good little promo there from #trending. As then Carmelo Hayes being interviewed about a match later tonight against Isaiah Swerve Scott. And Carmelo Hayes also asked about Tony D'Angelo's wedding, of course. And Carmelo Hayes saying that, hey, he messed with me, I messed with him. That's how it goes. You don't get to take a shot at me and think that I won't shoot back, because when I shoot back, I don't miss. So don't go shooting shots where your shots shouldn't be shot, because you shoot your shot at me and you're going to get shot right back. You get it? And then later tonight, Swerve wants to step in, and Swerve wants to step up, and Swerve going to get put down like he always will do by Carmelo Hayes. And then he notices something, he's like, excuse me, I just gotta... And he goes over, hey, and he swarms over, and you see figures disappearing into the night, running down corridors. And he walks upon Destined for Greatness, a Go-Go, Cassidy, Redden, and Williams, all laid out. Carmelo Hayes looking around at them, looking down the hallways, but no one down there anymore for a 76. Hayes, confident about his match with Swerve later, but, finding himself alone now. Go-Go, with his Destined for Greatness teammates like a Go-Go, Cassidy, Redden, and Williams taken out. I wonder who did that. Then we go to the ring, and now comes the Diamond Mine. Made their debut last week, laying out Cesaro and the Cruiserweight Champion Trey Griffin. And again, Ring of Roderick Strong says that he is on NXT now. He is back on the black and gold. And it's long past due for Roderick Strong to get some gold. Roderick Strong saying about how he is a diamond. And he might not be standing here as WWE Champion, but that doesn't mean he can't take over NXT. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to take over NXT, take over the Cruiserweight division as only he can. As then out comes, of course, Cesaro, not happy with being attacked by Roderick Strong last week, issuing the challenge. Strong happily accepting for 76. And then next up, Cesaro versus Roderick Strong, which, actually does sound like a banger, doesn't it? Hard-hitting affair. Technical matchup. In the end, it is Roderick Strong with the end of heartache for the victory for 77. Good match. 68 Cesaro, 83 Strong, both doing alright. Roderick Strong does get the victory over Cesaro, gets himself off to a strong start here back on NXT at that. As then we have a little video package focusing on Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano's history in NXT, and more specifically, Johnny Gargano's history with the NXT North American Championship. Of course, last week, he called out Isaiah Swerve Scott. He said, I didn't win King of the Ring, and maybe I won't go to SummerSlam, and maybe I won't be fighting for the NXT Championship at SummerSlam, but that doesn't mean I won't be there. Because Johnny Gargano, Johnny freaking Wrestling is ready for SummerSlam. No matter what it takes. And he says that he having been on NXT before, having held that North American Championship before, 2019, 3 years ago, hell, 3.5 years ago at this point, NXT TakeOver Phoenix, winning that NXT North American Championship from Ricochet, doing all that, and Johnny saying about how that was magic, being able to be one of the first NXT North American champions, and that reign didn't last as long as he wanted to. Of course, he wished he could have held it forever, but he couldn't. But still, it's time to keep going and keep moving forward, because then what happened? He won it again. Johnny two-time with the NXT North American Championship. And once again, that reign didn't last as long as I would have wanted. You see, me and the NXT North American Championship were entwined. I've held that title as many times as anyone else around here has. But I held it twice, and I held it for, less than 40 days. That's not good enough for Johnny freaking Wrestling. And that is why I am coming for that North American title. That's why I want that North American title. Because I'm ready to hold that title and have a reign with that championship, deserving of the name Johnny Wrestling. For 99. Very good promo. Very well done, Jonathan. As then it's Jade Cargill versus Mickie James. Jade Cargill also trying to put her hat in the ring to face Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Dakota Kai, watching on backstage. Nope, it's this. I didn't write it down. That's on me. We cut to this. Isaiah Swift got shown watching the TV of Johnny Gargano's promo and his little video package, and then walks in, Hit Row, Top Dollar, Shanti the Adonis, and B-Fab, and Isaiah Swift got asking what they want. And Top Dollar saying, hey man, I'm not trying to get in your business, but hell, I thought you were a real champion around here. I thought you were the North American champion. I was saying, I am. And Top Dollar saying, oh really? Because all I'm seeing is Mr. Wrestling over there making you look like a punk. I mean, maybe it's just me, but to me, the only person who should be calling people out for that title is the champion. I mean, hey, if you want to let just Johnny anybody call you out for that title, then go right ahead. But hell, man, maybe I just thought you were a better champion than that. That's why I'm getting angry, saying I'm the North American champion. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out there, I'm going to beat Carmelo Hayes later. And I'm going to show everyone that I am the main event. I am the North American champion. Ain't nobody good enough to go with Swerve for a 100. Very good promo. Very well done. As then we do have Jade Cargill, Mickie James. Yeah, and Jade Cargill does get the win, of course, for a 54, which is fine. Both get 47s, both to the right. Jade Cargill off her game a bit, but who cares? Jade Cargill does get the victory. As then we go backstage and we find Ray going to Dominic. And Ray's asking Dominic, what the hell's gotten into you, huh? Storming into the building like that. Confronting them like that. It's okay, we can get those titles back. You don't have to be like this. And last week as well, the way you won that match. And Dominic saying, what's gone into me? What's gone into you, huh? Rey Mysterio, the great Rey Mysterio. Multi-time world champion, future Hall of Famer. And you're okay with this? You're okay with us losing the titles like it's nothing? And Ray saying, of course not, but you don't have to do it like this. And Dominic saying, maybe you should. And walking away for 72. Dominic and Ray having some disagreements right now. It's not all rosy for the father-son duo at the minute, is it? As then it's time for the fun segment. Out comes William Regal. Well, he's just standing in the ring. We cut to him. And William Regal says it's time to reveal the SummerSlam theme song, and more specifically the artist behind the SummerSlam theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce to you all Mr. KSI. And KSI comes out. KSI coming out. KSI officially one of the theme songs for SummerSlam, while it will be performed by him. One of his songs will be a SummerSlam theme song. You know, him and Regal, they shake hands, show some respect. And KSI saying about how, you know, it's an honor. Watched WWE since I was young, always been a big fan. To have one of my songs be one of the theme songs for SummerSlam, not just SummerSlam, but SummerSlam in the UK at Wembley. It's massive. You know, it's a great honor. I feel so lucky, and you know, to be in this ring, to be here, as then he's out comes. He's interrupted by a Mr. Corbin. And this is not the Corbin we've seen these past few weeks. No. This Corbin is looking a lot happier. He hasn't got his old dirty shirt on or anything like that. He's shaved fully. He's got his nice fancy shirt on, his hat, and he's got his new theme. And he's in a buzzing mood. He comes down to the ring, gives Regal a hug. Regal like, what the hell are you doing? And even gives KSI a hug, and Corbin getting the mic and saying, I'm sorry. I just couldn't wait any longer. I'm just here for a celebration. Okay, everyone's been wondering, I know, where's Corbin been since Money in the Bank? Well, allow me to tell you what happened. I was defeated by Braun Breaker. I was feeling down, but allow me to inspire you, because I did not give up. No, I took my appearance fee from Money in the Bank, and I went down to the Vegas Strip, and I went down to the casinos, and I put it all in the slots, and I spun, and I spun, and I spun, and I won, and I won, and I won, and I won, and I won. And then I thought, no, I'll stop. But I'll get a celebratory drink. I went to the bar, finest bottle of champagne, of course. I drink nothing less. I poured myself a glass, and then a familiar face walked by. You know, we said hello. We had some drinks. I told him about my success, and he told me, go bigger. And so I took all that money. I went to the roulette table, and I put it all on black. And now I'm drowning in green because my money came in, baby. I'm rich. I won it all. And I really have one man to thank for that. And so I want to bring him down to the ring right now. Ladies and gentlemen, my best friend, Logan Paul. And Logan Paul does come out. Logan Paul, you know, getting in the ring, him and Corbin, going for a handshake, Corbin giving him a big hug, Logan and KSI looking at each other. KSI is, what are you doing here? You know, and Corbin thanking Logan, saying they wouldn't have been able to do this without him, saying that he inspired them to keep going and to never give in. And you know, he used that money, he bought these new clothes, he bought the new music, the Titantron, and he needed one more thing. And so he went down to where it needed to be. And he decided to get his first name back, but not King anymore. He's above that. Not Baron, he's above that. He needed a new first name, a name of honor, of dignity, of respect, and a name to commemorate the day his luck finally came in Vegas, and a name to commemorate his friendship with his new best friend. And he pulls out the document and he says, "So I am officially now known as," and he reveals it, "Maverick Corbin." And even Logan Paul's just a bit like, "What?" And KSI's laughing a bit. And Corbin saying, "I couldn't have done it without you, man. I couldn't have done it, so I wanted to honor you. And so, yeah, I am now Maverick Corbin in your honor." And there was just one last surprise for you I had, man. And that's one of the reasons we came out here right now, because I had just one more surprise I wanted to give you as a thank you. And then Corbin just turns around and he just grabs KSI, pulls him in, and hits him with the end of days. Just planting him out. And Logan laughing at that. And Corbin picking him up and then pushing KSI to Logan Paul. And then Logan Paul one punch to the face of KSI going down. And then Corbin, let's say his full name now, Maverick Corbin. And Logan Paul smiling, hugging it out, and having a good laugh at KSI. Regal's pissed off. He doesn't have to be anymore, but having a good laugh over KSI for 73. All that fun stuff. KSI official theme of SummerSlam. Corbin back with his new best friend Logan Paul and his new name, Maverick Corbin. What a name. What a name for what a man. Beautiful. Maverick Corbin is here. As then it's time for the main event. It won't be able to live up to that, I'm sure, but still. Carmelo Hayes versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. Just a fast-paced action match between the pair. Both men want to come out on top. Both men showing what they can do. Both are amazing in ring, of course. The match going on. Carmelo Hayes climbing to the top rope to hit his, to the top rope leg drop. I can never remember the name. The referee looking at Swerve as he gets to his feet. Swerve stumbles a bit. The ref checking on him, making sure he's alright. As through the crowd, of course, in a tracksuit, Tony D'Angelo jumps up, crowbar in hand, and then just smashes it into the back of Hayes' head on the top rope, and Hayes just plopping right off the top rope to the mat. Tony quickly leaving as Swerve makes it to his feet. Carmelo Hayes just about to start getting to as well, getting up a little bit, and just in time to get planted with a Swerve stomp from Isaiah Swerve Scott for the win for an 82. Good match, 81 Swerve, 65 Hayes, both doing well. But it is Isaiah Swerve Scott who does come out on top. And after the match, the NXT North American title champion gets his belt, his championship. Well, Vince is gone now, you can call it belt. Gets his belt and gets the mic. And then he says, "Hey, Johnny, get your ass here." And Johnny walking out onto the stage and Swerve saying, No, you stay there because this is my ring. Okay? I'm the North American champion. And nobody gets to call out the champ. The champ does the calling out. But you wanna take your shot. You wanna call me out. Well then bring it. SummerSlam Isaiah Swerve Scott, Johnny Gargano. Because I will happily put you down, old man. Because you don't run this show anymore. This ain't your house. This is Swerve's house. For 100. Brilliant. Of course, these two guys. Swerve versus Gargano confirmed for SummerSlam for the NXT North American title, was NXT gets an overall rating of 90. Really good show, of course. The thing that really brought it up, I'm sure we'd all agree, is Maverick Corbin. Beautiful. Lovely. Happy with that. Of course I'm happy with that. I love that. As week 2 of the build-up to SummerSlam has gone by, flown by, honestly. And let's just continue the train on, shall we? Next up with the final show of the week, as always, it's time for another episode of Smackdown. And Smackdown starts on Jey Uso hurrying around backstage. He gets to a locker room door, clearly labelled Brock Lesnar. It's his private locker room. And Jey Uso just kicks the door in, storms in. Brock Lesnar staying sat in his chair, Paul Heyman standing up, and Jey Uso saying that, "Hey, no one disrespects the tribal chief like that, Us. No one messes with the tribal chief like that, Us. You got a problem with the tribal chief, you got a problem with me. So I'm challenging you and me Lesnar versus Jey Uso, the right-hand man, later tonight. And Brock Lesnar just sat in his chair. Him and her even look at each other. And then Lesnar starts laughing. And Lesnar stands up. And you got, the image of Brock Lesnar stood with Jey Uso. And Lesnar looks at Jey and he says, "Okay, kid. I'll see you later tonight then." For 73. Nice little, what's the word? Cold open. There we go. That's why I run it. I found it really quickly. There. Then we go backstage to Liv Morgan in the locker room. And he walks to Leo. Leo says that, she didn't see Liv last week, but she wanted to thank her for her help at Crown Jewel. She knows that, she hasn't been the best friend this past, long time. Liv didn't have to come out there like that and save her, but she's really grateful she did. And Liv says that it's no worries, okay? I'm just happy that you're away from all of those people and, you're more of the Leah that I knew and loved. And then in walks Deonna's gang. And Deonna says, "Oh, look what we got here. It's the meeting of the rejects." And Deonna's saying, "Okay, first of all, I just want to get one thing straight, okay? I saw her little promo last week. And if Paige wants to come back, wants to challenge me at SummerSlam, then I'll see her there happily. And I will happily watch her tap out when I break her arm and put her right back in whatever retirement home she tried to escape to for one last moment of glory. Whilst you two, you two can do whatever you want. Aaliyah, you could have stayed with the best, but if you want to hang out with her, go right ahead. Because we're moving on to bigger and better things. Because Chelsea and Frankie here, they're going to win the tag team titles. The women's tag titles. They're going to be the team that goes to SummerSlam for Smackdown and gets the titles. And then Liv and Aaliyah looking at each other. And then Liv saying, "No, we do it first." For 76, later tonight, Morgan and Aaliyah taking on Monet and Chelsea Green as well. Deonna Purrazzo accepting Paige's challenge for SummerSlam. As then next up, opening match of the night, it is Bron Breakker versus John Morrison. Bron Breakker beating Braun Strowman last week and now going against Jomo. And Bron Breakker picking up another victory. A nice, good victory, Bron Breakker. 79, 78 John Morrison, 61 Bron Breakker. Good match, both doing well. Bron Breakker does get another big win though. I mean, he's beat Kofi Kingston, a former WWE champion. He beat Corbin, former Money in the Bank winner. He beat Braun Strowman last week, former Universal Champion. He beat John Morrison here, former Universal Champion. Bron Breakker, he's having a strong start to things on SmackDown. Only defeat to Big E, but still, I mean, losing to Big E's no shame, is it? 79, good. As Den, next up, we go backstage and we have Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And they say that Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt, they want to continue their freak show. Go right ahead, but don't sit around playing with puppets in your little fun house. Come to SmackDown next week, and we don't want cool kid Kevin, that jackass. We don't want Scarlet the Witch. We don't want Bray Wyatt. Bring the real deal. Bring Karrion Kross. Bring Scarlet. Bring the Fiend. Because we want to kick their asses. For a 93, really good promo actually from Reed and Joe, calling out Wyatt and Kross to meet them face to face next week. As then we just have a little retrospective video looking at the history of Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Their time in NXT coming up, in NXT around the same time. Kind of pitted against each other in that regard. And then going on SmackDown last year, the final to crown the first ever Women's Universal Champion, Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley coming out on top. Bianca Belair going down to the $1 Million title and winning that. And then kind of those two as the champions of SmackDown from May till October, I'm pretty sure. It was Belair and Rhea Ripley as the $1 Million and Women's Universal Champions, side by side. Rhea Ripley taking some time away, and Belair staying on, losing the title, but then winning it back, and now head to head again. Belair and Rhea Ripley two paths going side by side, always destined every now and then to come back together again ad infinitum for a 100. Incredible promo. Incredible little promo for this big match at SummerSlam that I'm looking forward to. As then we go backstage, Becky in the locker room, Charlotte as well, the women's tag team champions, and Charlotte a bit concerned about Becky's focus, you know. Last week, you know, ever since she won the Queen's Crown, all Becky's been talking about, Charlotte says, is this match with Ronda Rousey. And she knows that Becky's been waiting for this match or whatever for the women's universal title, but we have these women's tag titles as well we have to defend in the Fatal 4-Way, and it just doesn't feel like you're focused on that. And Becky says that Charlotte, you gotta calm down, mate. Okay? I can easily defend these titles against however many people want to step up to the man, the king, as well as kicking Ronnie's ass and taking that women's universal title. Okay? I can handle that. I am very, you know, the man can multitask. Let's just say that. As in walks Ronda Rousey. And Charlotte looking very much annoyed at Ronda Rousey's arrival. Ronda and Becky exchanging a few words, you know, they're past destined to once again finally cross at SummerSlam. As then in walks Toxic Attraction. Mandy Rose, Money in the Bank briefcase in hand, Gigi and JC. And Mandy saying about how, you know what, we just thought maybe we'd pay a stop by SmackDown, you know? Because we look at a little Lexi on Raw, and we look at Coda on NXT, but then we thought we'd just stop by SmackDown and see what's going on here, because I'm looking at the talent on, you know, available, and I'm not really seeing much Women's Universal Championship material in this room. And Ronda and Becky just kind of rolling their eyes. And then you can say, you know, Gigi and JC as well going to take those titles, so it's actually quite funny that, I mean, right now, you three have those titles, but I mean, come SummerSlam, we could have those titles. And Becky get up and saying, you know what, Mandy, I'm really glad you came, okay? I'd wish you'd shut up, but I'm really glad you came, but this gives me a perfect opportunity. So here's what we're going to do. Later tonight, I mean, you've already contenders, so let's do it. Becky and Charlotte versus Gigi and JC, 2v2. Mandy can come to ringside and watch. Ronda, you can come as well. Get a little preview of the ass whooping you're going to be getting come SummerSlam. And Charlotte, I'll show that I'm perfectly capable of kicking anybody's ass, whilst also getting ready to kick Ronnie's as well. For a 100, very good promo. Later tonight, Lynch and Flair versus Rousey and Rose. But for now, the women's tag match we're focusing on is Aaliyah and Liv Morgan versus Frankie Monet and Chelsea Green. The winners will complete the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the women's tag titles at SummerSlam. So far, it's Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus Toxic Attraction versus Buffin and Your Boyfriend. And the final team joining the match is Morgan and Aaliyah. Liv Morgan and Aaliyah do get the win. Aaliyah pinning Frankie Monet with the Bougie Buster. Bougie Buster, I could not say Buster there. For a 68 is decent. 71 Morgan, 53 Aaliyah, 49 Monet, 42 Green. All doing okay, as Aaliyah and Liv Morgan qualify, and the women's tag title match is complete. Lynch, Flair, Toxic Attraction, Buffin and Your Boyfriend, Aaliyah and Morgan. Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. Only one team can walk out as the women tag team champions, though. Who will it be? We will, of course, have to wait and see, but 68 for that is decent. As then we go to another, you know, video of Xavier Woods on vacation, the US champion. He's at the beach, he's sipping pina coladas, you know, getting caught in the rain. And everyone's talking about how SummerSlam's coming up, the biggest party of the summer, and yet no worthy challengers present themselves to the champion. So I stay having my own big party of the summer here at the beach. And, you know, these golden sands for the golden champion, this beautiful blue ocean, it's what I deserve. Champion of my quality is what I deserve. And here, let me show you the beach house. It's beautiful. You're gonna love it. He walks into the beach house, pina colada in hand. He walks in, and he drops it. What are you doing here? And the camera cuts to Tyler Breeze, who pulls down his sunglasses, and he says, Austin, or I'm sorry, Xavier. So good to see you, man. I just thought I'd pay a little visit, you know. I've been, you know, hanging out on SmackDown. I missed you. Where are you, man? US champion. And Xavier said, I'm just on vacation, man. Just chilling, you know. You know, it's kind of a one-person beach house, not enough room for another, so you should probably go. And Tyler saying, no, I'll go. I mean, I got a show to get back to. I mean, someone has to, but I'm just bringing a message from management to you that if you're not back next week, then, I mean, that title is getting vacated. And in addition to that, Xavier, I just thought I'd let you know that I'm coming for that title. Because I don't know what happened to you. I don't know what's gone on. You know, you and me, we used to be like this, but you seem hell-bent on ruining any and all relationships you have. But, yeah. If what I gotta do to bring that old Austin Xavier back, then I'll happily kick your ass and take that title. But, yeah, man, enjoy this, and I'll see you next week. Or not. Your decision, man. For a, God, 86, very good. Happy with that. Xavier Woods must be back next week. Does not look too happy with that little announcement, but he has to be back next week. As then we cut to a promo from Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa. And Black and Ciampa in a darkened room talking about how they're liars. Liars spreading false words. Giving hope in a hopeless world to hopeless people. Giving them that false hope. What a cruelty that is. For Big E and Kofi Kingston, they preach of light, of love, of laughter, that everything will be okay when it will not. And for their sins and for their lies, the time for their reckoning has come. And it's time for them to be judged. For 100. Ooh, how ominous. And they issue a tag team challenge next week. Yeah. Speaking of tag team matches, all tag team at the minute. You know that Triple H getting put in head of creative influence, rubbing off on me. Let's do tag team wrestling, everybody. Lynch and Flair, the women's tag champs, against Toxic Attraction, one of their challengers at SummerSlam 2v2. Mandy Rose, Miss Money in the Bank, and Ronda Rousey both looking on from ringside. As in the end, Lynch and Flair do come out on top. Lynch forcing JC Jane to tap out with the disarmer for an 81. Good match. 89 Lynch, 76 Flair, 45 JC, 44 Gigi. All doing pretty well. As Becky Lynch does get the win for her team and does show Charlotte. She said she'd show Charlotte she's, still focused on this. And she did get the win. So Lynch and Flair get their arm raised with the women's tag titles. Charlotte starts to go over to Becky. Before she can though, Ronda is in the ring. And her and Becky are face to face again. Each on their time. Charlotte's kind of rolling her eyes and then walking away up the ramp on her own. Mandy sneaking in the ring. Going to hit Becky with the Money in the Bank briefcase, but Becky ducking down. And then a big punch to the face of Mandy Rose, dazing her. Ronda grabs her and does that over-the-shoulder slam before Gigi and JC drag her out the wing and help her up the ramp. It just ends with Becky and Ronda face to face. Charlotte not impressed still, and Mandy Rose shown up a little bit for a 100. Mandy Rose, going across all three brands, presenting herself as a possible challenger to all the champions. Best way to do it, isn't it? 100, very good. Happy with that. That's good. 100. As then we have a video of Big E and Kofi. Big E and Kofi say that they are still brothers and they still have each other's back. And when Aleister Black attacked Big E at Crown Jewel, Kofi stepped in to defend him. And when Tommaso Ciampa attacked Kofi last week, Big E stepped in to defend him. And that's what they'll always do. They're brothers, they have each other's back, they're always there for each other. And what they got to do is come back together again next week to teach those punks a lesson and to kick a bit more ass together. Then I guess it's a good day for Big E and Kofi to get back on track. Accepting the challenge next week, Big E and Kofi Kingston versus Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa 2v2, which should be a banger for a 93. Before it's time for the main event, the Beast, the alpha male of our species, Brock Lesnar versus Jey Uso. And Jey Uso giving it his best. But of course, in the end it is Brock Lesnar with an F5, a second F5 at that, to Jey Uso just for good measure, just to teach him for smashing in his door for the victory for an 81. Good match. 79 Lesnar, 77 Jey. Both did alright. Brock Lesnar does get the window, standing tall over Jey Uso before Bask in his glory. Out comes the Universal Champion Keith Lee, not seen since Crown Jewel when Lesnar put him down with an F5, and he gets in the ring, and that's how Smackdown goes off. Keith Lee in the ring, Universal title over his shoulder, as he and Lesnar stare each other down. These two prime bits of beef just staring each other out with that with that Universal title between them for that 100. Very good end to the show. Lee and Lesnar face to face, as this week's episode of SmackDown gets an overall rating of 90. Very good episode. More puzzle pieces put into place on the road to SummerSlam. It's filling out nicely, this beautiful, brightly coloured. I can see orange and yellow and red of the suns, shining brightly for the biggest party of the summer, that is SummerSlam. Not too brightly. It is at Wembley, London, England. It's never too, I say that, it's quite hot, but still, it's never too sunny, is it? As that is going to be it for this week, though. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, and you're looking forward to SummerSlam, then why don't you subscribe to see when the next episodes drop? We got week 3, week 4, and then SummerSlam. You're not going to want to miss it, so subscribe to see when those episodes drop, and leave a like if you did enjoy. And you are enjoying, and I hope you have, and you did. And as always, I just want to say a special thank you for watching.